Tell me why Mr. Gilbert knew how hot the sun was, so Lisa, you have to lie down. My skirt was short, more skin on this floor.
So the vision for the project was for me to be able to create an authentic African story that was deeply rooted in blending movement with a personal story through, telling Lisa's story. And I think it offered me an opportunity to be able to show the world what African creativity was all about. Hi guys, my name is Gilbert Asante. I was the director and also a collaborator for the Made in Africa, Loved by the World campaign.
Hey guys, I'm Kwame, and I was the lead talent for the shoot. Working with Mr. Gilbert was different for me. I mean, he was so patient. Like, there was no rush for everything. He made me work in my own time and own space, and it was different for me. It was mostly, it's always like, we need to do this now, we need to do this now, we need to be on the move. But with Mr. Gilbert, there was so much patience, so much, how do I say it? Like, we could take our time and still bring it out excellently. It was about the things he would say before we shoot. Like, okay, Lisa, you need to be calm here. Lisa, you need to smile more here. Because this was my first time doing something like this. So I needed that, and he provided that. Kudos.
Lisa's story is that of rising through pressure. Every aspect of it told exactly what she has been through in her life, through her love for basketball and how it shaped her, through the influences that her mom had, and all through the moment that she is living, in now. And that is where the final scene comes in, and we get to see, what she's going through as of now. And all of this is also being shaped by technology and connection, and that is what is transforming her life to the scale that it is now, and that is what Meta comes in to offer, and that also kind of synchronizes with the thrust of the entire story.
Hi, my name is Kwame, cinematographer on the Meta Made in Africa, Loved by the World project. As the DOP on the project, my goal was to achieve the director's vision, and so Gilbert and I had a series of pre-production meetings online where he shared all his visual references and how he wanted to approach the photography for the piece. And because of how clear the vision was, it was easy for me to be able to translate that and implement that on the day. And it was really down to getting some extra references and then sharing that with Gilbert as well to see how he was feeling about it. And we got to a sort of a same page, and that allowed us to be able to jump right in on the shoot day. And so getting in pretty early, it was really just going through what the shot list was for the day and then scheduling it out the way it was going to make sense for the time we had to set up and tear down and then move between locations. I think technically the hardest one was getting the camera up on a stand to be able to get a direct overhead shot, and it was challenging because one, the sun was blazing, the floor was hot, and we had to have talent lie on the floor, and we ourselves were going through a lot of troubles with the heat, and then having to be able to break the camera in a way where it could be stable. That took us some time. I think that took us about 45 minutes to an hour just to figure that out. Yeah.
Tell me why Mr. Gilbert knew how hot the sun was. So Lisa, you have to lie down. My skirt was short, more skin on this floor. Let me even tell you that the thing they brought to cover like me before we shot, it didn't help. But I couldn't say anything. I had to be professional, but between me and you, guys, the sun. Anyway, I love that one too.
I think the most technically challenging or creatively challenging was when we had to shoot in a gym and make that pass for a warehouse because we had some location issues, and thankfully the gym was right next to the basketball courts we shot in, but it came with its own challenges in terms of the space, how much light we needed to consider, but one way or the other we were able to sort of push our schedule a little bit to allow us to film at the right time, to allow the sun to work for us. And so that kind of was one of the more challenging sequences to capture. And I think the next one will probably be the studio, where we had to play around with slowing down time, with slow shots and things like that. But I think it's one of Gilbert's strengths, and it's also one of my favorite things to do, so we found a way around it. Yeah.
My name is Alexandrina, and I'm the head makeup artist, and I did the makeup for Lisa Kwame for the Made in Africa project. The beginning looks were going to be shot in extreme heat, you know, outside with the hot sun glaring down on us, so they were very light. They were meant to keep her looking flawless, but not obviously made up, if you know what I mean. And she's already so pretty, so it was very little work to be done, you know. But yes, she was looking good for camera while she was on the basketball court and while she was in the gym dancing. One funny thing was while she was dancing, she was actually like melting off the makeup, but you guys wouldn't see it because that wasn't the focus of what you were meant to be looking at. However, the final look was one that we shot in studio, and we had time to really think about what we wanted. And when I saw the fluidity of her movements, her body, I knew that I wanted to fuse the makeup with a bit of hairstyling. We had a fantastic hairstylist on set, so I asked her to make these swirly patterns that we would use to kind of mimic that movement that Lisa had, which was so beautiful. And then obviously the makeup look was still clean to keep in line with what we're doing previously. I tried not to put any bright colors because her outfits were also going to be the star of the show, and didn't want to distract from anything. But we wanted that flawless base, and I created a really nice defined eye with a hint of sparkle, some nice bronze gold eyeshadow, definitely lashes to pop her eyes just in the corner. And then we also put these stones, these nice little gold stones, to kind of catch the light when she was dancing, so that we wouldn't have to do too much to the face, but it still had that editorial, you know, thing that I love to do. So that was it. I think her lips were really nice and glossy. We kept it nude, and her skin was kept very dewy and very skin-like. So she would look really great on camera for you guys, and very weird. I would say, so I think I touched on the fact that I wanted these swirly hair pieces on her face. However, I wanted them to be quite rigid so I could glue them onto her skin with a special glue, a prosthetic glue. However, they came out quite soft and bendy and oily. So whilst I was trying to glue them on, they weren't sticking. So that was a catastrophe, because I was holding tight to my idea of like, I want these swirls, and I was battling with the fact that maybe it wasn't gonna work. The reason why I was battling with that is because she's doing a full dance routine, guys. So if it's not gonna stick on her face, what's gonna happen? Is it gonna be flying off her face? You know, what's it gonna look like on camera if 1 minute the swirl is here and then the next minute it's like across her face? So for the continuity of it, I had to make sure that they stuck through, and thankfully they did. Okay, and the stones also stuck. The little gems I put on, they also stuck. So that was really hilarious, because in the moment I was being filmed when I was doing this as well. So a lot of the stuff was being filmed for you guys to see how it's being done, and I was panicking with the camera on me, and I was thinking, girl, you know what you gotta do. Why are you scared? But I was really scared, because you know, things like that happen. You plan for something, and then maybe something just doesn't work out, doesn't gel. But thankfully, it worked out in the end. So.
Hi, I'm Nuelbans. I was a stylist on this set. I remember when Gilbert called me that we were shooting, but I didn't really know the client at that time. So I was like, okay, he should bring it on. And then when I saw the treatment, I was like, okay, how do we introduce a cultural element into the shoot without screaming too much Africa? And looking at Lisa, I think she's incredible. I remember when I called her, I'm like, can she only trust me with the looks? And she said, yeah, she's going to trust me. And I think that's the best thing every stylist wants to hear, that the client or your muse trust whatever you're going to put on them. So what I decided to do was to create something of cultural relevance and also something with a nostalgic moment. And I think with the look one, we had something that was a bit nostalgic with the whole house container Benkwan uniform, but making it cute. And I remember Gilbert was like, oh, I think we should keep it more like in the base, like, you know, tennis girl, but like a school uniform kind of style. And I'm like, okay, I think I kind of love that, because then it gives it a different retrospect to the whole look, and then the look and feel as well. So we decided to keep her hair simple. The makeup artist Alexandrina also kept the makeup very simple, but we didn't want it to look too grown, or we wanted to keep it very young and fresh. And that's what we did for the look one. And then we gave her Mary Jane's, that was the shoes that she was wearing. And then one of the cultural element in that was Charlie. And I know every Ghanaian knows what Charlie means. And Charlie like, let's go, Charlie, what's up, Charlie? So we started to add the Charlie socks to it to give it that kind of cultural element in the look one. And also the uniform to create a nostalgic moment from the look one. With the look two, in the dancing moment where she found herself in the space, we realized that she was finding herself in who she was. So what we wanted to do was to create a look that was more of herself, but then also in tune with who she is as a person. So we decided to go for Free the Youth with as like a leader in the streetwear space, and then also a Charlie top that had like a relevance of like women in the society and who she represents as a girl who is growing up and influencing other girls in the society as well. So we decided to give her that look with the cardigan and then the blue and then the teal like pink and all of that in that space, because we wanted to see herself more, her emotions to flow, and her connection back home. We didn't want to lose her of who she is. So as you saw, she was wearing her identity, which was the top with the women in it. We didn't want to lose that as well. So that's what we did for the look two. With the look three was where I think the glam and everything came to play, because at that point she had found herself and she's presented herself to the world. Now the trick is that Lisa never wears makeup, she never wears wigs, she never wears anything. But then we're like, how do we blend the androgynous like look with the feminine to make it more feminine, for her to also resonate with her audience? And so when she has like mostly like women also following her, and she's inspiring a lot of women. So we decided to go with a softer look for the makeup, but make it a little bit playful, and then also with the hair, make it a bit like just herself, but just a little bit of touch that will make it a bit more feminine, and then give her a masculine look, which was like the shorts, the shirts, the white shirt, and the tie. Now the tie was where the cultural relevance came in, because we wanted to create something that speaks to her and her identity as a woman. When like we always see women wear braids and that's their crown, but we wanted to put her crown on her chest, and we wanted to put that as a tie to be able to give that element to it. So with the tie, we added the beats, and in the videos, I really love how the beats flow, because I wanted movement. And when you look at it, the jacket was given the movement, which was the jacket was from Christy Brown. We wanted the movement, but then we also wanted something that was more flowy, and we couldn't put like a cape or anything on her which would restrict her movement. So when you watch the video very well, you could see the tie was just moving up and down with the braids, and I think that added a little bit of drama to it. So she was happy, we were happy, everybody was happy on set. The fact that the looks also work with the kind of story we're trying to tell, with everything we were trying to do for her looks. And at the end of the day, that scene, the last scene for me, was the scene that really touched me, because it was where she stepped into a spotlight, and then she changed and it transformed her into a different person as well. So I think when we met in Paris, when we had coffee together, and Gilbert was taking me through the storyboard and his vision. And I think working with Gilbert, he knows what he wants. I feel like every scene in the documentary was like a moment in photography, but in art as well. So like when you look at when the basketballs were like bouncing, everything, it was all like artistic frame to an artistic frame. So for me, working with Gilbert also gave me from the artistic perspective, gave me a sense of connection, where the connection is we blending the styling, the clothing into the artistic side, and his direction, like also how he wants to see the scene also work, because at the end of the day, our collaborative efforts is what comes together to create that magical moment.
Hi, my name is Fosua, and I was the project coordinator on this project. So on this project, my role was just to make sure everybody is aligned in terms of call time and then location and all that. So I made sure that everyone had access to our call sheet, with the schedule and everything. So everyone knew the time that we're supposed to report on our first location. When we got on set, the lead talent was already on set, which was perfect for us. The camera crew, some of them were also on set. And in the morning, we're supposed to have our breakfast. I made sure that happened whilst we're trying to do the setup and all that. So on my part, I was just making sure that everything was aligned. Everyone had everything they needed to work effectively and all that.
Fosua, I will never forget Fosua. She was there on time. She made sure I had my food on time. And I had like three meals. Never, ever, on a shoot, never. They mostly give you like the ending, the dinner. But I had breakfast, I had lunch, and I had dinner. And they were good.
So with this project, in terms of our coordination, our logistics, everything, it was on point.
Hi, I'm Leslie, and I was in charge of logistics for the shoot. I think we spent close to 3 weeks prepping for this shoot, and I must say we jumped from calls to calls, meetings to meetings, and honestly it was very stressful, Charlie. But it's always attention to details when it comes to lace up and this kind of shoots. So we always plan ahead of time and make sure we secure everything that we need for a shoot of this scale. We had ample time to prep. So the issues that came up, we had solutions to kind of mitigate those things.
This meant so much to me in terms of growth. It meant people were watching me. It meant that my story was worth telling. So I was grateful for the opportunity to tell my story. There were actually 2 scenes that felt very personal to me. It was the rehearsal one in the arena and the last scene. The last scene was basically me every day. I like to focus on the empowerment more than the other parts of the story. So that was a part that I really enjoyed shooting, and it went beyond the shoot for the last one for me. It was just crazy. I just loved that one. And the rehearsal one, I was basically showing you what I go through every day while like creating this, and that felt special too. So at least you can also like see what I go through when I'm creating. Yeah. One fun moment was the makeup session for me. The hair, the makeup. I like to relive that every day of my life. Like not even me trying to get ready, like people trying to do my hair. I like change. I like seeing different sides of me. So that's what stood out for me. It was fun.
So for me, the magic happens when everything not only feels right, but also looks good. So it was about trusting the entire team to be able to do whatever, they've been assigned to. And I think this is one of the projects that I would say was like a beautiful day. Like you barely have such production days, as much as there were a number of challenges, but we had great weather, which was amazing. And with any project, like especially when it's a film and you have such a short time to produce, having great weather is something to die for. And that was pretty, the icing on the cake for us, right from morning till the call of the wrap-up. We had beautiful sunsets. We couldn't make it for sunrise, but the sunset was sweet. In terms of when it comes to the technical team too, everybody was, on their A game. Camera crew, DOP was amazing as well. Kwame did this thing with the vision that I had in terms of how I wanted things to look and feel. Everything went on, just as I envisioned it to be, and I think that was the amazing aspects, especially in making sure that the emotional nature of the story is told just as much as the technical side of making it look great.
So this brings us to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be bringing you more videos, so stay tuned. Kindly like, share, subscribe, and then leave a comment. See you on the next one. Bye!